Let's talk about the very interesting Grade 9 Geography Chapter 3 Drainage. Hey there, you are wonderful and you are strong. Enjoy the chapter and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon for future updates. The term drainage describes the river system of an area. Small streams flowing from different directions come together to form the main river, which ultimately drains into a large water body such as a lake or a sea or an ocean. The area drained by a single river system is called a drainage basin. The world's largest drainage basin is of Amazon River. Know more about Amazon River and some of the world's largest rivers in our video, Largest Rivers in the World. Any elevated area, such as a mountain or an upland, that separates two drainage basins is known as a water divide. Let's see the drainage systems in India. There are 20 river basins or draining areas, large and small, in India. The Ganga Basin is the largest. The Indian rivers are divided into two major groups, the Himalayan rivers and the Peninsular Rivers. These drainage systems are mainly controlled by the broad relief features of the subcontinent. Let's talk about the Himalayan rivers first, that originate in the snow-covered Himalayan mountains and cover long courses from their source to the sea. Most of the Himalayan rivers are perennial. It means that they have water throughout the year. These rivers receive water from rain as well as from melted snow from the lofty mountains. The two major Himalayan rivers, the Indus and the Brahmaputra, originate from the north of the mountain ranges. They have well-developed deltas. They have cut through the mountains, making gorges. They perform intensive erosional activity in their upper courses and carry huge loads of silt and sand. In the middle and lower courses, these rivers form meanders, oxbow lakes, and many other depositional features in their floodplains. Let's go through the terms meander and oxbow lakes quickly here. A meander is a bend in a river channel. Meanders form when water in the river erodes the banks on the outside of the channel. The water deposits sediment on the inside of the channel. Meanders only occur on flat land where the river is large and established. An oxbow lake is a U-shaped lake or pool that forms when a wide meander of a river is cut off, creating a free-standing body of water. Here are some of the other features made by rivers. Moving on, a large number of the peninsular rivers are seasonal as their flow is dependent on rainfall. During the dry season, even the large rivers have reduced flow of water in their channels. The peninsular rivers have shorter and shallower courses as compared to their Himalayan counterparts. However, some of the peninsular rivers like Narmada and Tapi originate in the central highlands and flow towards the west. Most of the rivers of the peninsular India originate in the Western Ghats and flow towards the Bay of Bengal. Now that we have got an idea of the river system of India, let's see each in some more detail. The Himalayan rivers are long and are joined by many large and important tributaries. A river along with its tributaries may be called a river system. The major Himalayan rivers are the Indus, the Ganga, and the Brahmaputra. Let's see their river systems. The Indus River System. With a total length of 2,900 kilometers, the Indus is one of the longest rivers of the world. The river Indus rises in Tibet, near Lake Mansarovar. Flowing west, it enters India in the Ladakh. It forms a picturesque gorge in this part. Several tributaries, the Zaskar, the Nubra, the Shyok, and the Hansa. They all join it in the Kashmir region. The Indus flows through Baltistan and Gilgit and emerges from the mountains at Attock. The river Satluj, Beas, Ravi, Chenab, and the Jhelum join together to enter the Indus near Mithankot in Pakistan. Beyond this, the Indus flows southwards, eventually reaching the Arabian Sea east of Karachi. A little over a third of the Indus Basin is located in India. Ladakh, Jammu, Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Punjab, while the rest is in Pakistan. The Indus Plain has a very gentle slope. According to the regulations of the Indus Water Treaty signed in 1960, India can use only 20% of the total water carried by the Indus River system. This water is used in irrigation in Punjab, Haryana, and the southern and the western parts of Rajasthan. Remember, I am waiting for your likes and comments, and subscribe to the channel too. The Ganga River System. The length of the Ganga is over 2,500 kilometers. The headwaters of Ganga, called Bhagirathi, is fed by the Gangotri Glacier. It is joined by Alaknanda at Devprayag in Uttarakhand. At Haridwar, the Ganga emerges from the mountains onto the plains. The Ganga is joined by many tributaries from the Himalayas, a few of them being major rivers such as the Yamuna, the Ghaggar, the Gandak, and the Kosi. The river Yamuna rises from the Yamunotri Glacier in the Himalayas. It flows parallel to the Ganga and, as a right bank tributary, meets the Ganga at Allahabad. The Ghaggar, the Gandak, and the Kosi rise in the Nepal Himalayas. They are the rivers which flood parts of northern plains every year, causing widespread damage to life and property, whereas they enrich the soil for agricultural use. The main tributaries which come from the peninsular uplands rise from semi-arid areas, have shorter courses, and do not carry much water in them. These are the Chambal, the Betwa, and the Son. The rivers Chambal and Betwa first meet a major river Yamuna at Etawah. Yamuna then meets the holy river Ganga at Allahabad. Son river joins river Ganga near Patna, Bihar. Enlarged with its water from its right and left bank tributaries, the Ganga flows eastward till Farakka in West Bengal. This is the northernmost point of the Ganga Delta. The river bifurcates here. The Bhagirathi Hooghly, which is a distributary, flows southwards through the deltaic plains to the Bay of Bengal. The main stream flows southwards into Bangladesh and is joined by the Brahmaputra. Further downstream, it is known as the Meghna. This mighty river, with waters from the Ganga and the Brahmaputra, flows into the Bay of Bengal. The delta formed by these rivers is known as the Sundarbans Delta. The Sundarbans Delta derived its name from the Sundari tree, which grows well in marshland. It is the world's largest and fastest growing delta. It is also the home of Royal Bengal tiger. Ganga forms dendritic pattern. It resembles the shape of a tree and is the most common pattern on the earth's surface. It develops in regions where the river channel follows the slope of the terrain. Here are the types of drainage patterns: dendritic, deranged, trellis, rectangular, and radial patterns. Ambala is located on the water divide between the Indus and Ganga river systems. The plains from Ambala to the Sundarbans stretch over nearly 1800 km, but the fall in its slope is hardly 300 meters. In other words, there is a fall of just 1 meter for every 6 km. Therefore, the river develops large meanders. The Namami Gange program is an integrated conservation mission approved as flagship program by the Union government in June 2014 to accomplish the twin objectives of effective abatement of pollution, conservation and rejuvenation of the national river Ganga. The Brahmaputra river system. The Brahmaputra rises in Tibet, east of Mansarovar Lake, very close to the sources of the Indus and the Satluj. It is slightly longer than the Indus, and most of its course lies outside India. It flows eastwards parallel to the Himalayas. On reaching the Namcha Barwa at 7,757 meters, it takes a U-turn and enters India in Arunachal Pradesh through a gorge. Here it is called the Hang and is joined by the Dibang, the Lohit and many other tributaries to form the Brahmaputra in Assam. Brahmaputra is known as the Sangpo in Tibet and Jamuna in Bangladesh. In Tibet, the river carries a smaller volume of water and less silt, and it is a cold and a dry area. In India, it passes through a region of high rainfall. Here the river carries a large volume of water and considerable amount of silt. Every year during the rainy season, the river overflows its banks, causing widespread devastation due to the floods in Assam and Bangladesh. Unlike other North Indian rivers, Brahmaputra is marked by huge deposits of silt on its bed, causing riverbed to rise. The river also shifts its channel frequently. The Brahmaputra has a braided channel in its entire length in Assam and forms many riverine islands. Riverine island is a landmass formed within a river. It is formed because of the deposition of mud and rocks in the riverbed. Majuli, the largest river island in the world, is situated right at the heart of Assam on the turbulent waters of the Brahmaputra river. The Peninsular Rivers. The main water divide in peninsular India is formed by the Western Ghats, which runs from the north to south, close to the western coast. Most of the major rivers of the peninsula, such as Mahanadi, Godavari, and Krishna and Kaveri, flow eastwards and drain into the Bay of Bengal. These rivers make deltas at their mouths. There are numerous small streams flowing west of the Western Ghats. The Narmada and Tapi are the only long rivers which flow west and make estuaries. Remember, an estuary is a partially enclosed coastal water body where fresh water from rivers and streams mixes with salt water from the ocean. The drainage basins of the peninsular rivers are comparatively smaller in size. The Narmada Basin. The Narmada rises in the Amarkantak Hills in Madhya Pradesh. It flows towards the west in the Rift Valley formed due to faulting. The Narmada Basin covers parts of Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. On its way to the sea, Narmada creates many picturesque locations. The Marble Rocks near Jabalpur, where the Narmada flows through a deep gorge, and the Dhodar Falls, where the river plunges over steep rocks and some of the notable ones. All tributaries of Narmada are very short, and most of these join the main stream at right angles. The Narmada River Conservation Mission has been undertaken by the government of Madhya Pradesh by a scheme named Namami Devi Narmade. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video and hit the bell icon for future updates. The Tapi Basin. The Tapi rises in the Satpura ranges in the Betul district of Madhya Pradesh. It also flows in the Rift Valley parallel to the Narmada, but it is much shorter in length. Its basin covers parts of Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, and Maharashtra. The coastal plains between Western Ghats and the Arabian Sea are very narrow. Hence, the coastal rivers are short. The main west-flowing rivers are Sabarmati, Mahi, Bharatpuzha, and Periyar. Let's see where do these rivers drain the water. After flowing through the Wagad region of Rajasthan, it enters Gujarat and meets the Gulf of Khambat before flowing into the Arabian Sea. The Mahi is a river in western India. It rises in Madhya Pradesh and after flowing through the Wagad regions of Rajasthan, it enters Gujarat and flows into the Arabian Sea. The Neela River or the Bharatpuzha. After flowing through the Wagad region of Rajasthan, it enters Gujarat and meets the Gulf of Khambat before flowing into the Arabian Sea. The length of the river is 580 kilometers. The Periyar River bifurcates near Aluva into two major distributaries. One continues to flow through Desam as Mangalapuzha and finally drains into the Lakshadweep Sea. The Godavari is the largest peninsular river. Its length is about 1500 kilometers. It rises from the slopes of the Western Ghats in the Nasik district of Maharashtra. It drains into the Bay of Bengal. Its drainage basin is also the largest among the peninsular rivers. The basin covers parts of Maharashtra. About 50% of the basin area lies in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, and Andhra Pradesh. The Godavari is joined by a number of tributaries such as the Purna, the Vardha, the Pranhita, the Manjira, the Vaiganga, and the Penganga. The last three tributaries are very large. Because of its length and the area it covers, it is also known as the Dakshin Ganga. The Mahanadi Basin. The Mahanadi rises in the highlands of Chhattisgarh. It flows through Odisha to reach the Bay of Bengal. The length of the river is about 860 kilometers. Its drainage basin is shared by Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Odisha. The Krishna Basin. Rising from a spring near Mahabaleshwar, the Krishna flows for about 1400 km and reaches the Bay of Bengal. The Tungbandra, the Koyana, the Ghat Prabha, the Musi, and the Bhima are some of its tributaries. Its drainage basin is shared by Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh. The Kaveri Basin. The Kaveri rises in the Brahmagiri range of Western Ghats and it reaches the Bay of Bengal in south of Cuddalore in Tamil Nadu. The total length of the river is about 760 kilometers. Its main tributaries are Amravati, Bhavani, Hemavati, and Kabini. Its basin drains parts of Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. The river Kaveri makes the second biggest waterfall in India. Look how spectacular it looks. It is known as Shivasamudram Falls. The hydroelectric power generated from the falls is supplied to Mysuru, Bengaluru, and the Kola gold fields. Kunchikal Falls in Shimoga district of Karnataka is the highest waterfall in India. Besides these major rivers, there are some smaller rivers flowing towards the east. The Damodar, the Brahmani, the Baitarni, and the Subraneka are some notable examples. Lakes. 71% of the world's surface is covered with water, but 97% of that is salt water. Of the 3% that is available as fresh water, 3/4 of it is tapped as ice. Lakes of large extent are called seas, like the Caspian Sea, the Dead Sea, and the Aral Seas. You may be familiar with the Valley of Kashmir and the famous Dal Lake, the houseboats, and the shikaras, which attract thousands of tourists every year. Similarly, you may have visited some other tourist spot near a lake and enjoyed boating, swimming, and other water games. Nainital is a popular tourist destination. Its main attraction is lakes. India has many lakes. These differ from each other in size and other characteristics. Most lakes are permanent. Some contain water only during the rainy season, like the lakes in the basins of inland drainage of semi-arid regions. Inland drainage is the drainage system where the streams of the rivers do not meet into an ocean or a sea. Instead, they empty their waters in an inland ocean or a lake. There are some lakes which are the result of the action of glaciers and ice sheets, while others have been formed by wind, river action, and human activities. We have seen how a meandering river across a floodplain forms cutoffs that later develops into oxbow lakes. Spits and bars form lagoons in the coastal areas. Now let's see what these are. These coastal features are formed when waves shift sand and pebbles across beaches. This process is called longshore drift. The beaches get longer. Some long beaches extend completely across the mouth of a river or a bay. These are called bars. They form sandy banks with the sea on one side and lagoons on the other side. Lagoons are areas of shallow sea that have been separated from the main sea. Other long beaches continue out into the sea as narrow strips of land. These are known as spits. Some lagoons are Chilika Lake, the Pulicat Lake, and the Koleru Lake. Lakes in the region of inland drainage are sometimes seasonal. For example, the Samba Lake in Rajasthan, which is a saltwater lake. Salt lakes form where there is no natural outlet. Here, the water table has a higher than normal salt content. Its water is used for producing salt. Most of the freshwater lakes are in the Himalayan region. They are of glacial origin. In other words, they formed when glaciers dug out a basin, which was later filled with snow melt. The Vular Lake in Kashmir, in contrast, is the result of tectonic activity. It is the largest freshwater lake in India. The beautiful Dal Lake, the Bhimtal, Nainital, Loktak, and Barapani are some other important freshwater lakes of India. Apart from natural lakes, the damming of the rivers for the generation of hydropower has also led to the formation of lakes, such as Guru Gobind Sagar, which is the Bhakra Nangal project. Natural lakes. They are generally found in mountainous areas, rift zones, and areas with ongoing glaciation. Artificial lakes are constructed for industrial or agricultural use, for hydroelectric power generation or domestic water supply, or for aesthetic or recreational purposes. Here is the list of some of the natural and artificial lakes in India. Vular Lake, Dal Lake, Nainital Lake, Bhimtal Lake, Loktok Lake, Barapani, Chilka, Sambar, Pulicat, Koleru, Vemband. All these are natural lakes. Whereas Gobind Sagar, Rana Pratap Sagar, Nizam Sagar, Nagarjuna Sagar and Hirakud, these are artificial lakes. Lakes are of great value to human beings. A lake helps to regulate the flow of a river. Lakes can also be used for developing hydropower. During heavy rains, it prevents flooding, and during the dry season, it helps to maintain an even flow of water. Lakes moderate the climate of the surroundings and maintain the aquatic ecosystem, enhance natural beauty, help develop tourism, and provide recreation. Let's see the role of rivers in the economy. Rivers have been of fundamental importance throughout the human history. Water from rivers is a basic natural resource essential for various human activities. Therefore, riverbanks have attracted settlers from ancient times. These settlements have now become big cities. For example, Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh on the banks of river Ganga. Using rivers for irrigation, navigation, hydropower generation is of special significance, particularly to a country like India, where agriculture is the major source of livelihood of the majority of its population. Now let's talk about a very important topic, which is river pollution. The growing domestic, municipal, industrial, and agricultural demand for water from rivers naturally affects the quality of water. As a result, more and more water is being drained out of the rivers, reducing their volume. On the other hand, a heavy load of untreated sewage and industrial effluents are emptied into the rivers. This affects not only the quality of water but also the self-cleansing capacity of the river. For example, given the adequate stream flow, the Ganga water is able to dilute and assimilate pollution loads within 20 km of large cities. But the increasing urbanization and industrialization do not allow it to happen, and the pollution level of many rivers have been rising. Concern over rising pollution in our rivers led to the launching of various action plans to clean the rivers. Crores of rupees have been pumped in for cleaning rivers under the Centre's National River Conservation Plan, which is known as NRCP. Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation, AMRUT, Smart Cities Mission programs of the Ministry of Urban Development, and the Namami Gange under Ministry of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation, MOWR. National River Conservation Plan. The objective is to improve the water quality of the rivers, which are major water sources in the country, through the implementation of pollution abatement work. The river cleaning program in the country was initiated with the launching of Ganga Action Plan in 1985. The Ganga Action Plan, or GAP, was expanded to cover other rivers under the National River Conservation Plan in the year 1995. These beautiful rivers seem to give us a message. They seem to say, go with the flow, immerse yourself in nature, slow down and meander, go around the obstacle, be thoughtful of those downstream, stay current. The beauty is in the journey. Hope you liked the video. In that case, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and share it with the friends and family. Till we meet next time, stay kind, make healthy choices, keep watching Isaac Kids, keep learning something new every day. Have a great day. Bye-bye.